I'm Bill, I'm with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the garage, where today we have the 2020 Ducati Streetfighter V4S up on the lift, and we're doing a modification that's just been released, and it's the very first of its kind. Now, there's a lot of controversy behind these winglets. A lot of people don't actually like them. There are kits to remove the wings. I kind of like the wings, but they're kind of big. So we have in our hands the brand new CNC enclosed winglets that we're going to be installing on the Ducati Streetfighter V4S. Now, let me give you a little bit of backstory of what I know on these CNC winglets. They've been developed. One of the reasons why it's taken so long is they did a lot of wind tunnel testing to make sure that these winglets have the same effect that these have. The winglets have a purpose. They're not only for cooling, but they are for downforce. The new CNC winglets are also doing the same. Now, these look like pretty simple install. I think you got a 4mm, four 4mm bolts on each side. We're gonna remove both the winglets. We're gonna install the new winglets. You're probably looking at a 10-minute modification, but the price tag comes at a hefty $650, but they are carbon fiber. So carbon fiber replacement winglets are running $8,000-9,000. So I kind of think it's a good deal. So let's get the chesty cam on and throw you guys a quick install of the new CNC enclosed winglets. All right, well, here they are, the CNC and Materia. So the CNC, the carbon covers are CNC, but the actual winglet is by Materia. And some of you guys know these they've been making composites for like the windscreen. They've got an aftermarket windscreen, and they have a couple of these. I think these are 3D composite printed winglets. So what you're gonna first have to do is there's a 4mm screw right in the back. So you actually remove the cover, and then they give you a little bit of these styrofoam spacers. You're gonna put a couple styrofoam spacers in here in between. Then you're gonna mount the main wing, and then what's nice is the carbon cover actually covers all of the screw holes, so you don't see any of the screw head. So it should look really nice. So let's go ahead and remove both the 4mm screws. So there's gonna be one in here. So once you remove that 4mm screw, you'll notice that this winglet actually comes off and it actually unsnaps back here. So careful with this, because these are just glued in. So you see they'll get a little tab on the top and then this little tab. So they're just epoxied on. So be super careful with this. So now we've exposed our winglet. So you'll see this is the right side that we're gonna be working on here. And now you see you can expose the screw holes. So if you're wondering where the hell the screw holes were, here they are. So now we'll go ahead and take the same 4mm, and we're actually going to remove all 4 screws from the winglets. All right, now we're gonna take our 3 pieces of foam. Now my big foam wasn't cut, so I just cut it into 4s. So you're gonna go ahead and remove, and you're gonna place one, it looks like here, and then the other one on the other side here. And then you're gonna take one of the pre-cut ones that they supplied out of the 2 smaller ones, and you're going to place this right up here. And now you've got a baggie full of bolts. There's there's 2 bolts that they supply, because the 2 bolts that they supply, it looks like, let's see, that's gonna be for the bottom piece, is the 2 bolts that they supply. And the top piece, you're going to continue to use the 2 stock Ducati bolts. So we'll go ahead and take this over. And first what we're gonna do is take our 2 top Ducati bolts. We'll go ahead and start threading those through. And we're gonna come up and go ahead and start threading the top bolts in. All right, so we've got the 1 bolt in, and it's nice and tight. And then on the other side, there's not much room on the other side, so you got to be a little bit careful But let's also make sure that these holes are nice and lined up. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and, before I tighten everything up, let's go ahead and start these threads down on the bottom here. And these are the 2 supplied bolts that they supply you. So go ahead and get those started and threaded in, and then we'll go ahead and tighten 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna loosen this one, and then 4. All right, so with all 4 bolts securely tightened, now you're ready to take your top lip here, and you're gonna, it's a little bit of finagling. You'll see that there's not much room up there. So you're gonna be super, super careful not to break any of the tabs off, you guys. Please be careful. And you're gonna kind of flex this up a little bit and get it hooked in the top and down on the bottom. All right, so my trick would be go ahead and just slide on the top with the bottom up underneath this bottom piece, okay? Now you'll see there's a slit in there for that bottom one to go into, but leave it right about here and it gives you enough room to push this over and in, so you'll see the top carbon piece is pushed in, and then now you're gonna go ahead and thread the 4mm you took out back through and get it tightened up. All right, so now you're nice and secure. You're clipped up on the top. You've got your 4 bolts for the winglets on there. And then this one that holds the cover on is a little tricky. You gotta kind of get it at the right angle in order to get it to start threading. And then it threads through. There's a locking nut back here. So we're done with this side. Let's go ahead and head over to the other side, and let's get the other side on. All right, and rinse and repeat. So we're gonna go ahead and first start with removing the lockdown bolt here for the carbon cover. And once that's removed, we're gonna go ahead and just lift this out of its little holder, and enough to push this, careful, push that back. So careful with these things. And I didn't mention Loctite. Please use some Loctite, you guys. We're gonna put red Loctite on both of the bolts. I'm gonna actually go over to the other side and re-Loctite those because I did not do that prior. So Loctite these down. So little foam spacer here, and your last foam spacer right up at the top. And now you're ready to start threading with Loctite your 2 bolts up on the very top. So we'll get these aligned, and then we're gonna go ahead and Loctite these down and get 2 stock, or the ones that came out, 2 up on the top, and then the 2 that they provide you on the bottom. All right, a little tip and trick: do the inner bolt first. Start to thread that one, then thread this one, then do the bottom. This is gonna be the hardest to get lined up once you get the other bolts in. So we're gonna do the one that's the hardest. You can't really access this bolt really well. I've had to get a little Allen wrench and just tighten, tighten, tighten. And then of course these are all nice and tight. You don't wanna tighten it too much because I see it started to split right here on that composite. So just be careful there. And then get these nice and tight down there. Again, don't forget your foam. And then we'll go ahead and start. Let's see if I can do this a little bit easier. So you see I'm kind of going on the lower, and then you'll see it'll latch up on the top. So we're gonna get this nice and in and latched up here. All right, so once you're seated in there, you're gonna grab your little bracket and get it right in the middle. So you're gonna see it lines up right there. Careful again around the plastic tab. And then go ahead and grab your 4mm screw that came out of this side, okay? And go ahead and lock it down. All right, and then the last bolt is going to be that 4mm that comes off the cover. Make sure you mount it from the inside here and not this side. This side is the actual receiving bolt side. So you wanna make sure you don't go in this side, but you thread it in through here, which then holds the actual carbon cover on there and get it nice and tight. Now, those spacers I think are definitely helpful, but you can see, you know, this is the problem with having 2 manufacturers involved, is this is a little bit loose. I would have expected that to be much tighter. So I'm gonna try to play with this a little bit and see if I can get it brought down and tighten just a little bit more with this screw here for the carbon cover. All right, well, there we have it. The CNC Materia winglets. I don't know, I'm kind of 50-50 on these right now, you guys. Honestly, I'm not 100% in love with them, but I don't mind them. I think if you guys are looking for a winglet or no wings, I think you guys are gonna like this. These are much smaller width-wise. They don't stick out nearly as far. They definitely look a lot more discreet than the stock winglet. So if you guys want something a little bit smaller, I think this is gonna be the way to go. But if you guys like that stock winglet, I'm not sure that you're gonna love these. I don't mind them, but I'm not yet in love with them. So thank you guys, the Ducati Streetfighter, another great modification. We've got some other stuff coming. You guys have asked me about the exhaust. I'm trying to get the exhaust sorted out. I do have the Termignoni exhaust still, but I took it off for now because I've just back-to-back track days and I don't want to ruin it anymore. I do have a new rear spring coming for this thing, so stick around. But you guys have been asking me about the aero exhaust. It is back on, but it's already has some issues. So, but stay tuned. We've got the over suspension. We're going to be doing a very in-depth tuning with Dave Moss here next Friday, so stay tuned for that. Obviously the S1000 single R just got some new rear sets, so stick around for that. Bogner's V2, we've got some stuff coming for this, so stick around for that. And you can basically just do the normal, hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, and then ring the bell notification. Bell notification is going to give you future notification of future content on stuff added into the collection. The HP2 left today. Stewie62, thank you for all the support on the HP2 Sport, but it did go to its new home today. So I'm on the hunt for a new bike. So stick around, and we'll see you guys next video. Bye, guys.